Hello, my name is Brandon, and welcome to Retro Reactions, a place where I experience amazing music from the 70s, 80s, and 90s for the very first time. And today we're going to be traveling all the way back to 1978 to listen to Side 4. Yes, the conclusion of Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds, and that includes the songs Brave New World, Dead London, Epilogue Part 1, and Epilogue Part 2, NASA. This is the first time I did not research the storyline in this album. I decided I wanted to be surprised, just, hear the story, see what happens as it's playing, since it's the big conclusion and grand finale. I have no idea how it's going to go, but let's find out. Anyway, if you're new here, welcome. Don't forget to hit that subscribe and like button as well as the notification bell to join the Retro Reactions community, where it's all amazing music all the time. Here we go.
There?
Friend.
Be on your way! This is my territory.
Your territory? What do you mean?
Wait a minute. It's you, the man from Maybury Hill.
Good heavens, the artillery man. I thought you surely burned.
I thought you surely drowned.
Have you seen any Martians?
Everywhere. We're done for, all right.
Can't just give up.
Of course we can't. It's now we've got to start fighting. Not against them, because we can't win. Now we've got to fight for survival. I reckon we can make it. I've got a plan. We're gonna build a whole new world for ourselves. Look, they clap eyes on us and we're dead, right? So we gotta make a new life where they'll never find us. You know where? Underground. You should see it down there. Hundreds of miles of drains. Sweet and clean now after the rain. Dark, quiet, safe. We can build houses and everything. Start again from scratch. And what's so bad about living underground, eh? It's not been so great living up here, if you want my opinion. Take a look around you at the world we've come to know. Does it seem to be much more than a crazy circus show? But maybe from the madness something beautiful will grow in a brave new world. With just a handful of men, we'll start all over again, all over again, all over again, all over again. We'll build shops and hospitals and barracks right under their noses, right under their feet. Everything we need, banks, prisons, and schools. We'll send scouting parties to collect books and stuff, and men like you will teach the kids. Not poems and rubbish, science, so we can get everything working. We'll build villages and towns, and we'll play each other at cricket. Listen, maybe one day we'll capture a fighting machine, eh? Learn how to make them ourselves and then wallop! Our turn to do some wiping out. Whoosh with our heat ray. Whoosh! And them running and dying, beaten at their own game. Man on top again! population of the earth is fading fast, and out of the confusion the chances come at last to build a better future from the ashes of the past in a brave new world. Give me a handful of men, we'll start all over again. Man is born in freedom, but he soon becomes a slave in cages of convention from the cradle to the grave. The weak fall by the wayside, but the strong will be saved in a brave new world. With just a handful of men, we'll start all over again. I'm not trying to tell you what to be. Oh no, not me. But if mankind is to survive, the people left alive, they're gonna have to build this world anew. And it's going to have to start with me and you. Yeah! Trying to tell you what to be. Oh no, not me. But if mankind is to survive, the people left alive, they're gonna have to build this world anew. Yes, and we will have to be the chosen few. Just think of all the poverty, the hatred and the lies, and imagine the destruction of all that you despise. Slowly from the ashes that phoenix will arise in a brave new world. With just a handful of men, we'll start all over again. Take a look around you at the world you've loved so well, and bid the aging empire of man a last farewell. It may not sound like heaven, but at least it isn't hell. It's a brave new world with just a handful of men. We'll start all over again. All over again. All over again. All over again. I've got a plan. starting all over again. A second chance. We'll even build a railway and tunnel to the coast. Go there for our holidays. Nothing can stop men like us. I've made a start already. Come on down here, have a look.
In the cellar was a tunnel scarcely 10 yards long that had taken him a week to dig. I could have dug that much in a day, and I suddenly had my first inkling of the gulf between his dreams and his powers.
Doing the working and the thinking that wears a fellow out. I'm ready for a bit of a rest. How about a drink, eh? Nothing but champagne, now I'm the boss.
We drank, and then he insisted upon playing cards. With our species on the edge of extermination, with no prospect but a horrible death, we actually played games. Later he talked more of his plan, but I saw flames flashing in the deep blue night, red weed glowing, tripod figures moving distantly, and I put down my champagne glass. I felt a traitor to my kind, and I knew I must leave this strange dreamer.
Take a look around you at the world we've come to know. Does it seem to be much more than a crazy circus show? Maybe from the madness something beautiful will grow.
There were a dozen dead bodies in the Euston Road, their outlines softened by the black dust. All was still. Houses locked and empty, shops closed. But looters had helped themselves to wine and food, and outside a jeweller's, some gold chains and a watch were scattered on the pavement. staring towards the sound. It seemed as if that mighty desert of houses had found a voice for its fear and solitude. Desolating cry worked upon my mind. The wailing took possession of me. I was intensely weary, footsore, hungry and thirsty. Why was I wandering alone in this city of the dead? Why was I alive when London was lying in state in its black shroud? I felt intolerably lonely, drifting from street to empty street, drawn inexorably towards that cry. Hill, the fighting machine from which the howling came. I crossed Regent's Canal. There stood a second machine, upright, but as still as the first. Abruptly, the sound ceased. Suddenly the desolation, the solitude became unendurable. While that voice sounded, London had still seemed alive. Now suddenly there was a change, the passing of something, and all that remained was this gaunt quiet. I looked up and saw a third machine. It was erect and motionless, like the others. An insane resolve possessed me. I would give my life to the Martians, here and now. I marched recklessly towards the Titan and saw that a multitude of black birds were circling and clustering about the hood. I began running along the road. I felt no fear, only a wild, trembling exultation as I ran up the hill towards the motionless monster. Out of the hood hung red shreds, at which the hungry birds now pecked and tore. I scrambled up to the crest of Primrose Hill, and the Martians' camp was below me. A mighty space it was, and scattered about it in their overturned machines were the Martians, dead, slain after all man's devices had failed by the humblest things upon the earth, bacteria, minute, invisible bacteria. invaders arrived and drank and fed, our microscopic allies attacked them. From that moment, they were doomed. Was ended. The people scattered over the country, desperate, leaderless, starved. The thousands who had fled by sea, including the one most dear to me. All would return. The pulse of life, growing stronger and stronger, would beat again. As life returns to normal, the question of another attack from Mars causes universal concern. Is our planet safe? Or is this time of peace merely a reprieve? It may be that across the immensity of space, they have learned their lessons and even now await their opportunity. Perhaps the future belongs not to us, but to the Martians.
Looking good. It's going good. We're getting great pictures here at NASA-controlled Pasadena. The landing craft touched down on Mars 28 kilometers from the aim point. We're looking at a remarkable landscape, littered with different kinds of rocks, red, purple. How about that, Bermuda?
Fantastic. Look at the dune field.
Hey, wait, I'm getting a no-go signal. Now I'm losing one of the craft. Hey, Bermuda, you getting it?
Oh, lost contact. A lot of dust blowing up there.
Now I lost the second craft. We got problems.
All contact lost, Pasadena. Maybe the antennas...
What's that flare? You see it? A green flare coming from Mars. Kind of a green mist behind it. It's getting closer. You see it, Bermuda? Come in, Bermuda. Houston, come in. What's going on? Tracking station 43, Canberra. Come in, Canberra. Tracking station 63. Can you hear me, Madrid? Can anybody hear me? Come in. Come in.
no, those Martians, they came back in the end for revenge. Wow, didn't expect that. I kind of thought we would win, but I didn't think they would come back. Just what an incredible, indescribable, almost beautiful, sonically overflowing experience, emotionally overflowing experience, storytelling overflowing experience. Now that I've heard the whole thing, I can kind of remember everything as a whole. I can see why it's so beloved by so many of you guys. Just such an outstanding album. You know, this should have won multiple awards. I hope it did, Grammys and anything else. And I think a copy of this should be in the Smithsonian Museum in Washington. I mean, it's just so perfect. You know what I've rated it all the other times before. You probably know what I'm going to rate it today for side 4 and for the whole thing. Just perfection in every way. Yes, I liked it. Okay, we'll start with Brave New World. Here the journalist meets the artillerymen again. Both of them thought they were dead. They have some conversations. Eerie sounds on the left and right as they're speaking. I assume that's the Martians, hanging around, hanging about here and there. Then the music starts, gets more intense, and I absolutely love that motif. I already forgot what it sounded like. I thought I would remember it because it came so many times. I think it was about 4 notes. Dun, 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 dun. Really explosive high note. Epic orchestration there. But it was nice that they repeated that 4-note, we'll call it, motif, not only in the orchestra, but then in the vocals, later on in the guitar. It stayed throughout that first song, and it was incredible. I'm sure you saw my head vibing to it several times. Dun, 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 dun. Really, really cool. You know what I'm talking about. The plan to build a whole city underground is discussed by the two men. The singing, of course, in this section by David Essex. I really loved his vocals and his speaking here. The delivery was perfection. So dramatic, so enthusiastic, so much fear in his voice, but then so much resolve in his voice, courage, etc. Really, really nice presentation of his voice here. Again, I got a really stage musical feel in this whole section due to the vocal delivery, like I said, the instrumentation, the storytelling, and the melody. It was so theatrical. I loved it. As he started revealing his plan, there was such confidence and hope in his delivery. He was just so determined. He even believed that he could defeat these Martians, through their own means. Really cool. Great bass lines in this section. Really, really striking. The bass was shining throughout the whole album. Again, that 4-note motif kept coming back, made that song so, so memorable, so enjoyable. Just such epic music for this epic crossroads moment that they're at here. It was mind-blowing. Everything was intoxicating, very intoxicating to my ears and my brain. I was just savoring it so deeply. I also love the acoustic guitar strumming in this section. I know I mimicked it several times. Really, really fast, really intense, very enjoyable. It's discussed about that tunnel, the underground tunnel. He's only dug 10 meters, I think it was. And, that really shows that his plan can never really come to fruition. It's just a dream at this point. It's his only way out, thinking he can build a whole underground city to protect the people of Earth. Then surprisingly, just as the song states, they start playing cards and drinking, almost celebrating, just so not fitting to that moment. But they have to do what they have to do. I think soon after that, the hopelessness kicks back in. They separate, and the journalist continues on his journey. All right, we'll move on to Dead London. Really nice, calm synth melody on the left and right. Really, really cool. Kind of a nice change of pace from the first song. We got the journalist walking around through the aftermath of this deserted and destroyed city. He's seeing a lot of horror. He's describing what he's seeing. Then we get this really cool Pink Floyd-esque sweeping guitar. The guitar lines were really cool. I think it was pretty brief, but really love that. We also get this surprisingly childlike melody going on in the background, as he's describing the horror he's witnessing. No one is around. Really cool juxtaposition there, this calming childlike melody against this horrific tale of what he's seeing. This section was also very hypnotic. I guess he's seeing some Martians and is walking towards them. but with the music, it feels like he's literally being sucked toward these fighting machines. Really, really interesting sounds there. When he gets to them, they stop. The sounds stop. Silence. Their crying stops. He, I guess, learns that they are perished at this point. It's around this point that the orchestral theme from earlier, maybe side 1, returns. The da-da-da, da-da-dun, da-da-dun. That's really, really cool that it made a full circle moment there. He sees birds pecking at the dead machines and Martians. And we find out, surprisingly, that our own bacteria has killed all of them. How very ironic. We have victory, or so I thought. Then we move on to the next song, Epilogue Part 1. A full-on celebration, I got emotional. It felt so real. It felt that I had won as well. Nice celebratory music, very different tone here. Very happy, positive, joyous. It's upbeat earlier, but it was still upbeat with a lot of darkness. Here it's upbeat with just pure joy and celebration. I wrote, "The nightmare is over, finally." It actually felt like a huge weight was lifted off me, And it's amazing how they're able to achieve all this, with me in 2023. Incredible. That's how it's a completely timeless album. At this point, we get a warning for possible future attacks from the Martians. Be vigilant is the message here. Just such an amazing recap and conclusion to this wonderful, wonderful album. And we end this epic, epic journey with Epilogue Part 2 NASA, of course spoken by Jerry Wayne. I assume this is happening in the future from the original story. Many years or decades have probably gone by. They talk about crafts landing on Mars, images being sent back and looked at by the controllers at NASA. Then they talk about 2 crafts suddenly being lost, losing communication. The Martian sounds come back. Impending doom. The nightmare is not over. So the journalist's warning was correct. The Martians are back, and this time they certainly have a new and better strategy. Poor humans. Wow. Just wow. I was hoping it would have a happy ending, but hey, a lot of movies do that. I can see why they chose to do that. Just a huge, epic adventure overall. So the first 3 sides got the double Epic Platinum Record Award. This is no exception. I'm giving side 4, and thus the whole album, the double Epic Platinum Record Award. Yes, for Jeff Wayne's musical version of The War of the Worlds, 1978. I completely bow down to you, Jeff Wayne, for creating this immense masterpiece. And yes, I loved every single instrument, every single sound here, every single person involved. So I will thank individually every singer and musician who played on this album. Thank you so much, Jeff Wayne, Justin Hayward, David Essex, Chris Thompson, Phil Lynott, Julie Covington, Joe Partridge, Jerry Wayne, Chris Spedding, Herbie Flowers, Barry Morgan, Barry D'Souza, Roy Jones, Ray Cooper, Ken Freeman, Paul Hart, George Fenton, Bill Lowry, Gary Osborne, Paul Vigres, and Geraldine Wayne. Amazing. Alright, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching. This was a long one. I really appreciate it. I'm sure you loved it as much as I did. Anyway, don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment down below if you wish to chat about this album or anything else by Jeff Wayne. Would love your feedback. So you take care, stay safe, stay hydrated, and remember to let peace, calm, and light into your day and night. And I'll see you next time in the past.